Hey, we are live and it is actually day 5. I know I said day 5 when it was day 4, but it's day 5. Sharing your spiritual awakening story. Yay! I'm feeling in a really funny mood, so just so you know. So this is day 5, sharing your spiritual awakening story. I'm going to share with you how to share that, some examples about sharing your spiritual awakening story, because as our lead soul guided instructor says, Robin, not they are brutal. For some people, I think majority of people, if you've ever been for a dark night of the soul, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so this is day 5 of 7. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, have a look around in the cards or in the playlist, or the playlist or the description or the pinned comment, depending on when you're watching this or where you're watching this. You could be watching in the SoulLegacyAcademy.com. You could be watching on the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Awakening YouTube podcast, Spiritual Business Success with Iona Reid. You could be watching in the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network Telegram channel. I don't know, in the community. Let me know where you're watching and let me know how you have found this challenge so far. Hopefully you've been tracking along with me. We are sharing, or I'm sharing with you, everything that I've got. I did 2 hours and 40 minutes yesterday. It was a lot. I do not have that much for you today, but I do have some gold. So this is 1 week to create a movement and #1 best-selling book niche marketing media kit for soul guided influencers using my Canva template, which you'll see over there. Right, so let's dive in. I'm going to share my mind map with you, as I do, because I just do, and dive in. So all week we've been filling in your media kit, talking about your movement. I've shared a lot. I'm not going to recap all of what I've shared, but what I will say is when I share my spiritual awakening story, I do that on the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass live, and I usually do cry. I'm a bit of a crier. So day 1, we talked about what is a movement marketing media kit. I believe it's the #1 best-selling book niche marketing strategy using a movement and a media kit together. It's like gold. Day 2 was what is an author platform. Day 3 was what is an authority media platform. And day 4 was what does an author and authority bio look like. That was a lot. So today's day 5. How do I share my spiritual awakening story? And I do believe that if you've had a spiritual awakening, which we all have multiple awakenings, and we're just awakening all the time anyway, because life is an awakening process, especially when we go through dark times, and especially when we shift the energy globally, and we know 2020 and it's 2022 and it's all the things. 1444 for me, I'm just saying. Mirror numbers have been, like, on the times, have been big for me this week. So I love the synchronicities and all the things. Let me just take that off the screen and make my mind map bigger. So are you ready? Have you gone through the other days, and are you enjoying it? And do you have a spiritual awakening story inside of you, but you're not sure what that is necessarily? Are you a co-author in my co-author book series, which I will shout about, because I want to really get as many co-authors into this book series as possible. So I have co-authors in there, excuse me, and I have 7 seasons of this co-author book series because it was downloaded to me, gifted to me. And I call it the Soul Legacy Journal, Spiritual Awakening Stories of 365. It was inspired by all of the co-author book series, actually, that I've been actual part of, which I've been part of 3, excuse me. And each one has come at a significant point in my life. And a significant point is in me building the author platform and the authority platform at the same time. Author, I just mean books, and authority, I mean video, YouTube, right? And so the first one was Empowered Women of Social Media, and I've showed this already. Let me go to my Amazon Author Central page. I believe that's up here somewhere. If I make this smaller, then I'll be able to find it. Here we go. So it was Empowered Women of Social Media, and there was 44 women at the time sharing. I don't think that was it. Oh, come on, let me just do this. Okay. Let me go to Amazon and share that. So Iona made, IONA made. There we go. There's my Amazon author central page. So this one was Empowered Women of Social Media. Over 100 women found their voices in social communities, and that has actually inspired me to create a community, create a network. It was the Empowered Women's Network, something like that, at the time, and it was just a really great community. And it was the first time I really experienced community, to be fair. And I was asked to be a co-author. There was 38,000 women. This was 2014. Again, an October date. Obviously, for me, October is big, and I will share with you the time. 1444. This our whole project was built on the 444s. Can I get an amen? I'm just saying that is how the guidance, the soul guidance works, right? That I just love it. And that awakening, you might be seeing times you just might just know and have your numbers, all the things, that spiritual sense of your awakening. And I'll talk about like how you come through your awakening and what that looks like sometimes. But I love that. So let me go to Amazon. So Empowered Women of Social Media. So we found our voices. There was 44 at first. 44 women found their voices using the power of social networking, is what it was called. So they've changed it. And it was just, it was beautiful. I can't remember where my chapter was. What was that? Oh, and Elizabeth Cape is in my world. I wasn't sure whether she was in that. She was actually a student of mine, and actually just a really beautiful soul. And Iona made. I don't think I can get to my chapter, but I do share my chapter in my bonuses. I love that. Anyway, this, and I think there was a couple of people that I actually interviewed as well. So this book was like really big. We were everywhere. It seemed like we were everywhere. And so when I did this, I actually shared in my chapter that I was doing the #1 divine intervention virtual event, right? And then the 365 soulful messages, the right guidance at the right time. This is the 5th book in that series. And I did see the book. When I went for the co-author book series in Empowered Women of Social Media, I was just looking online and thinking, so this is part of me awakening. This is part of my journey. This is part of my story, right? All the dots that are connected when you look back, but when you go forward, you don't know. So just that guidance. And so they'd already done one book, there's Jodie Chapman and Dan. And I was like, okay, so they'd done one book. I saw that 365 ways to connect with your soul. I'm like, I'm all in. It's soul. They'd done that one. Then they did Moments of Grace, Life Shifts and Pivotal Moments. I believe in here they had another book series. So I paid to become a co-author in it. And my son passed, and I was like, I can't do it. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. And they held a space for me, Jodie and Dan. And so when the next book series came around, are you ready to be part of this one? I said, no. And there was one that had soul in it. I was like, yes. And it didn't come about. And then, so they did 365 life shifts, pivotal moments that changed everything. Then Goodness Abounds, 365 true stories of loving kindness, right? That was the 4th book. And then this book was the 5th one, and it ended up, and I was like, oh, I have to be in this one. And it ended up being the last book in that series. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to be part of it. I was like, oh, and so really grateful. So in there, I shared, it's time to turn your wounds into wisdom. And that was 1333. And so it happens that I've just seen 1444, but this project was built on the 444s. I love it. And so I shared the right guidance at the right time. And at the time, I was hosting the Gifted to Shine, the 27 plus legendary light leaders coming back online. And so that was an interview series. And then when I became a #1 bestselling author, which this was out by a year, and my interview series ended up being out by a year. And so now I'm being featured in The Secret Child, Life After Loss. And then we've got my own YouTube series, which is The Spiritual Awakening on YouTube site. So I've done 3 interview series that have evolved with me, and the books that I've had opportunity to be in have evolved with me as well, if that makes sense. So I love it. So now I have the Soul Legacy Journal. This is the notebook. So if you want to take notes, you can. And I will have the co-author book series and the journal, which comes with the YouTube podcast and the Spiritual Alchemy giveaway, the Spiritual Ascension after show party. So I just wanted to share that because I'd love to feature your spiritual awakening story, your journey. There's so many things that we, you know, that are synchronicities. Let me just make that bigger. So let's talk about how to share your spiritual awakening story. I shared my spiritual awakening stories in those books, in all 3 of those books. They're definitely awakening stories. And so a spiritual awakening story, become more of who you are and align with your soul. So I've talked about doing joint vision partnerships and being part of the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network as the producer of that, and holding space on a monthly call for you to come together and connect, co-create, collaborate, and cross-promote. And so this is just a beautiful way. When you are part of a co-authored book series, again, I'd love you to be part of it if you do have a spiritual awakening story inside of you, is that when it's not your own book and it's a co-authored book series, all of the co-authors are sharing. And all of the co-authors are really proud to say that they're part of something that's glued them together, that's been a significant point in their life, something that will never ever happen again. And so it's aligning you. And so when you do interviews, because I talk about doing joint vision partnerships for interviews, I'm just going to have a sip for water. That's what I had done alongside my books. I felt called. I like talking. Don't love camera, but I like talking. So when I've looked on YouTube, which YouTube lasts a lifetime, right? I've come across a couple of interviews that I want to actually address, and I'm going to click on this one just so you can see. This is a YouTube ad that goes in front of a YouTube video, which you might be fed up of, but I'm going to talk about YouTube ads as part of the Movement Marketing Media Kit. So this is Lulu May. And I've watched her journey. She talks about vision boards and different things, manifesting. She came offline for a little while, but this is 2012, right? And so she actually, Leeds Metropolitan, Leeds is my hometown. She actually interviewed this guy, Steve Taylor, 12 years ago on Spiritual Awakening. And he shares, it's a 36-minute long video, and it's beautiful. 9 years ago, 10 years ago, that people have come across it. 2 years ago, very good interview. When you share something on YouTube 7 years ago, 4 years ago, it stays there. And so a lot of times when people do joint venture partnerships, it's very short term. Excuse me. Or when you do summits, it's like, well, it's for this period of time. You know, watch the interviews, watch them within, and I'm doing this because that's what it feels like. Watch the interviews, watch them within like a couple of days, a week at tops. And I'm going to close off registration. And if you want to watch the interviews again, you need to purchase the interviews. That was the summit model. It became the summit model. And now, you know, we've got YouTube and we've got YouTube podcasts, so we kind of, and loads of interviews for free. So that is where I wanted to go with it. And so I think it's really beautiful. So that just shows me that, you know, there's a train of thought around spiritual awakening. It's got 30,000 views in 10 years, right? 10 years. All right. So it's a really good interview if you want to watch it. I just wanted to just bring that up. And again, like I said, this is a decade on. So it's on Lulu's YouTube channel. And let me actually go to her YouTube channel because she interviews some amazing people I've watched. Hang on. You're into meditation. Let me just go to. She actually 10 months ago, 7 months ago, the amount of people that she does interview. Wayne Dyer is there, Joe Dispenza is there, Anita Morijani, Wayne Dyer, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. Did she do a TED Talk? Oh, she did a TED Talk. Awesome. Hang on. Okay, who else? Loads of people. John Gray, Sonia Choquette, I love her work. John Diamartini, Deepak Chopra. Who else? I don't know who Barbara Max is. You might know more of the people. But she's interviewed a lot of people on different things, right? And so I love it. And so it's like when you go out there and you think, oh, well, I've got this really great idea. Has anybody ever done it before? Oh, I want to do it original. And you know, she's just sitting there. Before she used to be in location in person. Obviously, it's got to be on video because that was probably through part of the pandemic. So she used to be on location in person. And those interviews are side by side. I'm sure they're just side by side on video. I'm sure they're just as amazing. But she used to just travel everywhere. I think she's had a child now, so she might not do the same thing. But these are all in beautiful locations. I love it. And so I see my interview series not like this one, but just people telling and sharing their story. There's a lot of people sharing their stories. So 10 years ago, I don't know when the oldest video is. I'm like just casually scrolling. Now let's see when Lulu Macy's got 16 years ago. So when you think, oh, do I need to get started 16 years ago? Don't even know how old the YouTube platform is. And I should know, the dates slipped my mind. But 100 Days Challenge 16 years ago. And she looks quite the same. I was going to say she looks different, but not really. 15 years ago. And obviously Oprah Winfrey, that was around, it can't be 15 years ago that I've been watching it though. I remember talking about Oprah Winfrey and meeting Oprah Winfrey and, you know, putting that on a vision board and manifesting. She's done so many days of a challenge. I don't know what the challenge was. I love it. And when you do, she set the vibration for her to manifest, right? She set herself this challenge. I love it. We've got the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge. Anyway, I could be there for ages. Scrolling through Lulu Macy's interviews. And that's kind of what happens as well. Once you find a spiritual YouTuber that you resonate with, you end up just binge watching. Have you ever done that? Just binge watch, especially when they're sharing something that you really are interested in. So she has Steve Taylor, author and lecturer, spirituality and psychology, videos, degree courses online, awakening experiences, and some of his appearances, TED Talk, Power of Purpose. So when it looks like she's been interviewed him again. He's spoken to Eckhart Tolle, all the things, right? And so I love that. So you can use, this is a interview that's 12 years old. And as a co-author, what we will do on launch day, on book launch day, is have interviews and segments all day on launch day on the 6th of May. And I love that. So awakening experiences. So they're not his awakening experiences. So what we, like I say, what we will do on book launch day for the co-author book series for the Spiritual Awakening, it happens on the 6th of May annually. So depending on when you're watching this, there's 7 seasons of this book launch. And I have when I launched my book and it went to #1 on Amazon, we had when I was a co-author for Soulful Messages 365, and that book informed and inspired the format of this book, the idea of it. And this was Lindsay Austin on launch day, her going into her categories and me showcasing, and Lindsay said she's absolutely fine with me doing that. So, you know, I love books and I love launching, and it's a beautiful way to launch. And so the Spiritual Awakening annual YouTube summit, you will see on the Soul Legacy TV, and you will see these change as we have the episodes go out. And so you will see who is actually being featured on the YouTube podcast as well. So a decade on, and she's still using, and he's still using his speaking, his TED Talk, his interviews, his collabs, and even a festival right? So when you are sharing your spiritual awakening story and you're getting interviewed, just know that it's going to be there for a real long time, and you're going to get to see it. So watch other people sharing their spiritual awakening stories. I'm going to show you how I put up together another playlist. It's a fresh playlist from when I did this. Let me just hold on just 1 second. Let me just plug in. I've just noticed that my laptop is on 30% and I don't want it to go out. Let me see what you can see. Okay. So, it's going to be there. This is an interview by, who is it by? It's with Aaron Doherty. I think that's how you say his name. There's a new way to grow. I think the guy says his name wrong as well. Unifies all your data in one place. Hang on. Brian Scott. He's got 450,000 subscribers, and there's 12,000 views on there. Let me just turn the sound down. But people watching it. So when was it published? Doesn't say. 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. Comments 1 month ago. So people still see it, right? People still see it. The majority of people, especially the way that I'm teaching, and I will always share the playlist of coming in and being interviewed, right? So Aaron Doherty is being interviewed on Spiritual Awakening. And if you don't know who Aaron Doherty is, he's massive in the YouTube space, absolutely huge. So if he can share his spiritual awakening story, I'm sure that you can share yours, right? And I've watched him grow 1.38 million, 1.3 million subscribers. Love it. And so this is his channel trailer with links. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So he's changed and evolved as well as he's, 3 years ago, even. Just as you evolve and you grow, thumbnails change as spiritual YouTubers, personal development friends, etc. Why empaths? So he's just done a couple of shorts. All right. So he shared his spiritual awakening story. Do you love that? If you watch other people, what they say in their spirit, it's going to trigger you. And one of the things that somebody once said to me, I think it was Kimber Luna, but I think she might have heard it from someone else. And she said that somebody said, if you watch an interview, write down the questions and see how you would answer those questions. We're going to talk about talking points and questions tomorrow in day 6 of this challenge. But think of your spiritual awakening story and think of how you'd want to share it. There are plenty of examples out there. And what I will do is share with you that there is not only the companion journal, but there's a companion notebook. So take notes. And this is 365 days of your spiritual awakening story. So it's a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. When you are going through my interview series, somebody's sending me a message. It's my daughter. I'm going to just check it. Make sure she's all good. So when you are, and she is, when you are reading a book or watching something and you're getting aha moments and you're getting downloads, I believe that we watch and we see things for a reason on our path. We're kind of guided and directed. And there was a YouTuber that I was watching the other day, and she was saying how she was guided to different books, and I'm also guided to different resources, different YouTube videos, basically, YouTube channels, which you probably will as well, and you've been guided here. So let me share with you. I haven't got a lot to share compared to yesterday. I have a couple of examples, hang on. So this is a playlist that I've put together. There's more than this. So all of these YouTubers are sharing their spiritual awakening story. I think it was this YouTuber that was
which I'll get into now in the spiritual, but this whole self-development. Hey guys, howdy, what's up everybody? Thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and my channel is Megan X Rose. As you can see, I talk about spiritual things like the law of attraction.
So there's spiritual YouTubers sharing, there's a lot. And I have put together this playlist of spiritual awakening stories. There's 205. It's unlisted. 205 videos on my spiritual awakening story. So what I did was when I was enrolling co-authors, the first round of co-authors, they were so terrified to share some of the spiritual awakening stories because some were sharing multiple spiritual awakening stories. When you actually take the time and just watch a 15-minute story, a 20-minute story, an hour-long story of somebody else going deep and sharing their spiritual awakening, then it kind of gives you permission to share. What we did was we got into the room when I first did this challenge in February 2021. And I had co-authors in there, and they were all we went down the Zoom room and we shared a story. There was a lot of tears, and it's a lot of emotions being brought up, but the connection was absolutely priceless. It was beautiful. Honestly, everybody got goosebumps. There wasn't a dry eye in the house when each of our co-authors shared their story. So when we are launching the book on the 6th of May, on my birthing day, it's actually in memory and in love and memory and dedication to my son. We're all going to get to share our stories, right, and share the book series out, etc., etc. We'll have it on a pre-order and then share it out for launch day as well, and it's just going to be amazing. So these are some of the stories that I've been watching and I've felt inspired to watch. It just is beautiful. It's just a really beautiful energy. I've still got some more videos to add, so you probably will see more than 205 in here. And so just take that as in there are other spiritual YouTubers sharing their spiritual awakening stories. It's not just you. Obviously, we know that so many people have gone through a spiritual awakening, but one of the reasons, and I will ask many YouTubers who I want to feature in the summit and the #1 spiritual annual YouTube summit, spiritual awakening annual YouTube summit, why they've shared it, and I will ask them questions on what their journey has been like and what that spiritual ascension process is. What do they do for their spiritual rituals and routines on a daily basis, and how their soul path unfolded and how they've come to do what they're doing, showing up, speaking out, and serving deep as a spiritual YouTuber, and what that looks like and who they serve and how they serve them and all the beautiful things. And when I was had my co-authors in the room with me, they all said, you know, this is about being in service, and the more I serve, the more it just feels amazing. So I have the Soul Legacy movement, which I've been talking about, and the book and the dedication. So in the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, and if you haven't joined the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, again, it's not on the socials at all. I've taken it off, and what I noticed is my head is just clear. There's no funk, there's no distraction. As empaths, the energy is big. The energy of the collective is shifting and has shifted. However, I'm someone who is a very sensitive soul, and many of the people that I work with are as well, and they find social media draining. First I was like, why? I love it, I use it, and then it started to kind of feel like it was using me with Facebook and the Meta and I'm just, people are like, why are you not aligned with that? I'm like, I'm not aligned with a platform that doesn't align with my values. It's not that deep, but for me, it's just not a way that I prefer to spend my time, the visual that I have in my mind. And so I want that connection, and I want that in-person connection. And that's why we've included a retreat for soul-guided influencers, for spiritual biz YouTubers to get together in person and to get together on a Zoom call once a month to connect and co-create and collaborate. And I've provided a community that isn't on the socials. This was the Spiritual Businesswoman Network. It was very much on the socials. It was in LinkedIn, but that LinkedIn groups are just rubbish. Sorry, LinkedIn. And they might not be in the future. And Facebook groups were lit at one point, and they've had a lot of changes, and there was not a lot of reach, and blah blah blah. But we did do really well, and we made some really amazing connections. However, some of the things and some of the people, as I raised my vibration, just fell away. And I'm like, I don't get it. And one of the things that I've noticed with the spiritual YouTubers and all the spiritual awakening stories that I've just shared with you, there's like over 200 and more on YouTube. is that I was explaining to the spiritual business women, like, about business and about YouTube and about marketing. And a lot of people didn't want to be visible and they didn't know that they had a movement inside of them. And when I stopped to think, oh my God, I love YouTube and I love the YouTube platform, but I didn't love camera. But to support up and coming spiritual YouTubers is my jam. It wasn't just spiritual women. I wanted to support men and women. And so in supporting you, what I wanted to do was come off the socials because it was a distraction. There's a lot of people in groups who want to siphon people off of your group, a lot of people that are fake and rude. And I just can't stand for rudeness. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to create this space. And it's taken me over a year to duplicate the space, re-record all of the things. And here I am showing up, speaking out and serving deep and feeling really, really aligned and feeling really, really good and knowing that this is part of me with my spiritual awakening and my spiritual ascension and my spiritual alchemy journey. And I couldn't hold space for what I hold space for if I wasn't true to me. And I love holding space for the people that I serve. I really, really do. So this is the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. And there is oh gosh, did I not? Yeah, I put it in there. There's a dedication to you. That's my movement, right? And so the Soul Legacy movement, you know, that's actually just brought my profile up. Boom. Okay. The soul why behind the SBYN, the Soul Legacy movement, was born because you are here. Because we invited you to take part in the video visibility challenge to show up, speak out, and serve deep. The Soul Legacy movement is dedicated to you. So you and all the spiritual biz YouTubers, soul guided influencers, aka authors, teachers, trainers, therapists, mentors, mediums, healers, readers, coaches, counselors, entrepreneurs out there who feel compelled to be in service in the world and give back as you fulfill your soul legacy, launching and leading and leaving your days as you make your difference by making a living, by helping and healing others, and in giving. May you truly be open to believing, receiving, and being in vibrational alignment to allow your manifestation of your big vision and mission and soul legacy movement be delivered to you as your own divine downloads from the universe. Just know the universe does have your back. You are not crazy. There are many, many like-minded, I say light-minded, soul-guided light leaders, light seekers, light bearers, living lanterns, light warriors out there who get it and get you. So please use the energy of the Soul Legacy movement and the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, SBYN for short, and the words written through me for you as a reminder that you are not alone. I believe in you and we believe in you. I'm here. We are here to help you get out of your own way and shift your mindset and remove the money blocks and the self-sabotage long enough for you to go within and unleash your soul legacy. The soul legacy that is really ready to allow your desire to fulfill your big vision, mission, and soul legacy movement. Ditch the fear of failure, success, and selling so you can earn what you're worth, and for the prosperity to manifest in the form of whatever prosperity means to you: the love, the balance, the joy, the happiness, the success, the money, the momentum, the prosperity conscious mind, and that awakens you in every area of your light work, lifestyle, and world life. With that said, my hope, our hope, is for you to have the clarity, confidence, systems, and strategies today and always, so that you can break free from the self-sabotaging patterns, the high standards of perfectionism, or self-doubt causing procrastination, and begin trusting your judgment and soul guidance again, so you can enjoy living in the now. As you become your own best expert in SBYN, you'll intuitively have that sense of knowing and be guided to what feels like the right way to save yourself first and stand in your soul truth, while you have more soul client income, more soul family influence, and more soul tribe impact. Be blessed in your soul calling. Stay true to your big vision and mission and soul legacy movement, even if that means that you're standing alone for a while. Love yourself first and know that it's okay not to listen to the negativity of others or the negative internal dialogue. You know, that voice inside your head that holds you back, gives you umpteen excuses, blocks you from self-love, self-acceptance, or living the life of your dreams. When you reveal the key to the prosperity you've already created that's waiting for you behind the open door of possibilities, there will be something you let it go and something you will let it in. I would love to hear from you when you discover with ease, grace, and flow what your it is. The Soul Legacy Movement and the SBYN is here to support the health and well-being of our nation and our future generation to escape poverty and elevate prosperity. And we also get to see, hear, and feel the ripple effect of the Soul Sisters and Soul Brothers within the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, the SBYN Soul Family, bringing their helping and healing work to the world. If you don't start the race, you'll never get to the finish line. If you are going to have any chance of successfully attracting your big vision and mission and soul legacy movement you desire and keeping it long term, you'll also need to be open to thinking something new, something different this time. We invite you to take our video visibility challenge. Inside the guide section at SBY, I'm going to show you where that is in a second. We cannot get to a new place in our art and space, in our light work and lifestyle and world life with the same thought frequency that is drawn to us all that we don't want. To attract prosperity, you will need to have a prosperity consciousness. We all know that the substance of the universe is consciousness. We also know that our reality is created in our mind first, right? So going about developing a prosperity consciousness and listening to our soul guidance is a logical option. Do you think? I do too. Big love, Iona made. So what I will say is the video visibility challenge is the next thing that I would love for you to do. And so what I've done is I've put this playlist for all of the spiritual awakening stories, and I will add more where I see more. So there's over 205 examples of spiritual awakening stories. So you want to share your spiritual awakening story in my book series, the co-author book series, over one of the or more of the 7 seasons. I would love it. So speaking out and showing up, speaking out and serving deep. Please come and add your energy to these conversations. This is not a place for lurkers. And Robin, not our lead soul guided instructor, has said she wanted to lurk. The Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network is a space for soul guided influencers to get visibility support. I've got a sticky note on my glass. Hang on. Visibility support and tips to show up, speak out, serve deep on YouTube. I don't know why it sounds louder when you drink on camera. Please do not try and add live stream videos to this private Soul Legacy Academy student community. Your lives will be deleted. Please upload a pre-recorded video. Only our soul guided instructors can go live. And I say that there's 3 prompts to the video visibility challenge below. 1, read the rules of this community. 2, introduce yourself and your channel, where you are in the world, including your time zone. This is in your intro video. What you do and who you do it for. If you want to be a guest and if you want to find a guest, and share your spiritual awakening story, and come to the Soul Guided Influencers monthly call, right? So you can come and connect, co-create and collaborate and cross-promote. That is what I would say, that with this whole experience, the video visibility, it really is about you being visible. And if Robin had not been visible, we would not be on the journey that we are on now. Simple as that. So your task for today, I'm going to share the task and I'm going to share my screen, and this is going to be a really quick one. So 1 or 2 of your spiritual awakening, or watch 1 or 2, not what, watch 1 or 2, apologies, and write down your pain to power, your wounds to wisdom, your trauma to triumph story, whatever that is, in a way that relates back to who you are now and why you are showing up, speaking out, and serving deep, and how this is aligned to your movement, your message, and your money, or it has the potential to. So create a video and post it within the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network under the MMMK challenge, right? Whatever that is. So this is the video visibility challenge. This is the MMMK challenge. So post that under day 5. All right. And then this is me going live in there. And then you've got the template. So hopefully you can see, and we're going to talk about your talking points and articles and stuff. So if you do the video visibility, it's going to make more sense for day 6. All right. So let me just share with you Aaron Dirty. And so we've talked about Aaron and his spiritual awakening story. We've talked about mine. And what I will do is, as you share your spiritual awakening stories in the co-author book series, because this is training for my co-authors, just so you know, turn your Spiritual Biz YouTube channel into #1 best-selling book, Spiritual Awakening Stories. The topics for the 365 series and the triggers, people are searching on YouTube and online. 360,000 people are searching every month about spiritual awakening. So again, turn pain into power, the breakdown to the breakthrough, the wisdom, wounds to wisdom, trauma to triumph, etc. So these are some of the things that people are searching for. So the keywords, this was 2021 when I did it, and I've done a little bit more, and I will do some more, and I will put it into the co-author program and the mastermind. So spiritual books for women, spiritual business for men, best-selling books, best-selling spiritual books for beginners. So there's key search terms being used on Amazon, Google, and on YouTube. So some of the things that, you might be coming through the awakening, and if you've heard me talk about the 7 freedoms throughout this week on my YouTube channel, going through my spiritual awakening, I said, I've used vision, the power of vision boards, and the power of journaling, and I have a 7-day YouTube challenge, vision board challenge, vision board for families, actually, because it's for you and your family. It's about that legacy, and the vision board is split into 7 areas, the 7 freedoms, I call it, the 7 cheers to financial freedom, frequency for intentional living, setting those intentions in alignment with your values, with integrity, because we need that. We need that online, and we need that in the industry. And so contribution freedom is on a Monday, health freedom is on a Tuesday. Don't ask me why that is that way around. Emotional freedom is on Wednesday, environmental freedom is on Thursdays, relationship freedom is on Fridays, spiritual freedom is on Saturdays, and financial freedom is on a Sunday. And then the journaling of that is contribution freedom on Mondays, health freedom on Tuesdays, emotional freedom on Wednesdays. This is what I journal through. So we set the vision, then we journal it to raise your vibrational frequency, to be in alignment with the vibration of freedom and the vision with freedom and your value of freedom, to set up your life to live intentionally in alignment with the cheers frequency. So you may have come through your awakening through your contribution, through your health, through your emotions, through your environment, through your relationships, through your spirituality, or through your finances, or multiple. And they might be some of the spiritual awakening stories that you share. And so I've categorized some of the triggers that you might think of that you might want to share in an article or as part of your story. So spiritual awakening at work, benefits, beginners, best books, blog, life falling apart, authors, artists, anxiety, health and physical pain. So anxiety, probably emotion, and spiritual awakening. Hang on. Insomnia. Oh, so I have got it in the anxiety. So insomnia, headaches, abdominal pain, acne, aches and pains, acid reflux, stomach. Might just have a story about it, like adrenal fatigue, sickness, signs of low back pain, sinus, alcohol, always tired, allergies, alcohol intolerance, appetite, painful bloating, body pain, bladder, emotional anxiety, anger, after depression, feeling lonely and abandoned, acceptance, trauma, being alone, I'm going crazy, bipolar, environment, a car accident, and different locations in the world, retreats, relationships, romantic, spiritual awakening, and romantic love. After breakup, divorce, before meeting the twin flame, meeting a soulmate, meeting someone, narcissistic abuse, heartache, young, 30, alienation, who am I, losing friends, child, teenager, young age, 21. I didn't write these. This is what came up in the searches. Spiritual practice, and I just categorized them. Spiritual awakening and abundance, about life, the Bible, affirmations, New Age of Aquarius, signs of Hindi, signs and symptoms, alchemy, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 to 5 a.m., between 3 and 5 a.m., astrology as a Christian, astrology aspect, stages in the church, law of attraction, Bible verse, Bible before and after. I haven't got anything for wealth. So if you can think of whatever your spiritual awakening, how that came, then great, right? And so there's plenty of people, like I say, share their spiritual awakening story. Part of sharing your spiritual awakening stories, I wanted to say, is with the storytelling, I don't think I missed anything. What did I miss? Playlist, YouTube, how to share. Oh yeah. So spiritual awakenings and spiritual ascension. I haven't spent a lot writing spiritual alchemy, I should say. Then I got a phone call. No, I got a knock at the door. So I was doing this. Living with the past, living by the current chapter of your life, the past chapters of your life, living by the current chapter and living into the future. And so I wanted to talk about storytelling. Storytelling is a real thing in the industry. And so I've seen these people also ask, what are the 4 types of storytelling? And according to this, it says story, origin story, value story, vulnerable story, personal story. Storytelling, marketing examples, story marketing content, story marketing digital, story marketing book, examples, brand story marketing, visual, email marketing, video marketing, social media, products. The stories that you can tell around everything, things that relate to your trauma, things that relate to how you've developed in business. Storytelling is huge. And so intuitive story is like just making up a story on the spot. Storytelling, why is storytelling important for healing? Storytelling offers the space to reflect upon and move through past traumas, the ability to relish in the beauty of moments long past, and ignites the desire to unite our communities and with our communities and with ourselves, all forms of healing. Right? I love that. So, have a look at storytelling, because it is a thing. Story marketing. So there's people that have videos on story marketing, right? And so I've featured guests sharing on stories and their marketing. Now we're talking about creating a movement and sharing your story. And somebody's story that stuck with me is a guy called Hello Rod, which I mentioned yesterday. I probably talked about him all week. He's gone through his multiple awakenings. As people say, that there's a gift in adversity. He's went through a lot. And so he turned that around and actually created a practice to put his life in order, right? And so Hello Rod shares his story and his bio again, but it's also a story that includes his bio of his car accident, of his cancer, of his kidneys failing, then running a marathon. And then that's not necessarily just business, that's like telling his story of his life. It was taking life head on after having a head-on crash, right? And setting up his morning. Right throughout his book is telling a story. And that, like I said, a lot of people, 14,000 people were searching, over 90,000 people searching Mel Robbins, right? And she has an incredible story. I don't think she has an Amazon author central page, but she does, I believe, have it. Oh, she does have, did I see this yesterday? Yeah, I did. A deal with Audible, I believe. But yeah, Mel Robbins sharing her groundbreaking work, her just how she got out of bed. She was depressed, she was drinking too much, she was fighting with her husband, she was doing all the things, right? So the spiritual awakening stories come in so many different forms. And then we have the Soul Legacy Journal. So many different forms that we just, if you have a story inside of you, I believe that it is your duty to share it. So hopefully this was an inspiration to create your movement and really get your story out there. Other people have done it. You can do it too. In day 6, we're going to be talking about your talking points, your article and your interview talking points. And if you have done the other days, then day 6 will make more sense. And then we are going to share your template in the community on day 7. So whenever you're watching this, then go for it. Really go for it. Really, why have you been through a spiritual awakening? They're not supposed to be that painful for no reason. Mine have been painful. Some people don't. I will share mine in the book depending on when you're watching this. But again, if you want to be a co-author, email submissions@SoulLegacyAcademy.com. All right, I shall speak to you soon. If you are not part of the community, go to the SoulLegacyAcademy.com. I'm going to share it. Hang on. Let me get you to go to the SoulLegacyAcademy.com and sign into the masterclass. That's the only way you're going to get into that community is if you enroll in the masterclass, enroll for free, right? And you will get into the community that I've just shared with you, Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. I do have other communities for other courses, the 5-day fast track movement marketing model for soul guided influencers. It's the SLA student only community for the 5-day challenge and my 12-week bootcamp. And my co-authors and soul guided instructors, author and authority platform community, the #1 Spiritual Awakening annual YouTube summit community, the 7 freedoms. That's where I talk about prosperity consciousness, and follow on from the vision board challenge and the daily vlogs. So there's a lot of tools in there. There's a monthly 2-hour coaching call, which is valued at $77 a month. I actually gift it to my co-authors, the boot campers and my masterminders. Then we have the Soul Legacy Launch Blueprint Walkie Talk Mastermind, which is for masterminders only. Then we have the network. So, I love it. Hopefully you'll love being part of the community as well. So do share this out. Invite a fellow spiritual YouTuber in, a soul guided influencer, to also show up, speak out and serve deep. I shall see you on day 6. Yay, you made it. Well done. Mwah. Big love. Take care.